In case you missed it, today is YNW Melly's bail hearing. His legal team believes their release package is strong enough to secure his release, arguing from two different legal angles. They're confident this combined strategy will work. Meanwhile, Melly's life behind bars has been deeply troubling. In a recent interview, his mother revealed they have evidence showing he is not being treated like a human in jail, a serious issue, as correctional facilities are legally obligated to ensure the safety and humane treatment of inmates.
You saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone.
Next, Melly's legal team plans to present evidence from the original trial that challenges the federal claims. The prosecution alleges that Melly committed the crime inside a Jeep, but the defense argues this is false. They say GPS data from Melly's cell phone provider shows he was actually seen running down a street and hiding in a bush at the time of the crime, directly contradicting the Fed's version of events.
I'd be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some. I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
To further support their claim that the incident was actually a drive-by shooting, Melly's lawyers will once again refer to evidence from the original trial. They point out that no firearm was ever recovered at the scene, which strongly suggests the shooter fled with the weapon, something consistent with a drive-by scenario. This key detail casts serious doubt on the prosecution's version of events.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
However, the prosecutors are expected to push back with their own evidence and argue why Melly should remain in jail. One of their strongest points is a set of text messages allegedly sent from Melly's phone just hours after the crime, where he reportedly said, "I did that." This message could be used as a direct admission of guilt, giving the prosecution a powerful argument to counter the defense's claims.
PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Additionally, prosecutors have pointed to a saved video found on Melly's phone, footage from someone's Facebook live stream recorded just 6 hours after the crime. In the video, Melly and Bortlin are seen dancing in a parking lot, which prosecutors argue shows a disturbing lack of remorse and raises further questions about their involvement and state of mind following the incident.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! So no, still turned. Regardless of what happened, you already know.
The video showed no trace of grief or sadness over the loss of their two closest friends. But perhaps the most shocking development came from a rogue member of the O Block crew who revealed a potential motive behind the crime. According to this, individual YNW Melly didn't want to continue sharing his finances with the other YNW members, suggesting that money may have played a key role in the deadly incident.
Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walter Bam, I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around?
This was meant to remain a secret, something Melly allegedly confided in King Von. Unfortunately, before Von passed away, he reportedly shared it with members of Oblak. The motive? According to a rogue Oblak member, Melly didn't want to split his finances with the rest of the YNW crew. Since YNW is a registered business LLC, Melly and Bortlin were earning money through concerts, merchandise sales, and promotions. However, Sack Chaser and Juvie, who weren't contributing to the work, still expected a share of the profits. But perhaps the most chilling aspect is that prosecutors don't seem to be concerned about whether Melly gets bond or not. That's because they've already taken a major step behind the scenes, submitting paperwork to try Melly and his best friend YNW Bortlin together in the next trial. And the reason for this move is deeply strategic and potentially devastating for Melly's future.
Here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found.
It's just common sense. If YNW Bortlin knows he didn't commit this serious crime, there's no way he'll be willing to sit quietly and take a life sentence without a fight. That's why many believe that when the pressure mounts, Bortlin might end up turning on Melly to save himself. But here's what most people don't know. During the original trial, Melly's own lawyer had already attempted to shift the blame onto Bortlin, subtly laying the groundwork for doubt in the jury's mind.
Were his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland.
This revelation came straight from YNW Melly's own lawyer, who made it clear that Bortlin was the one lying to federal investigators from the very beginning. According to the defense, Bortlin had gunpowder residue on his hands and was the one, physically present with Juvie and Sack Chaser when they were killed. To strengthen their argument, Melly's legal team even brought in a forensic scientist to testify and break down the details of the gunpowder residue found on Bortlin, pointing the finger directly at him.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of hot residue and 2 two-component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of hot residue and 1 two-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was hot residue present on the hand.
Rumor has it that Bortlin and Melly haven't spoken since the incident, as Bortlin wasn't pleased with the direction things were going. This tension became more apparent when Melly's mistrial was granted. On the same day, Bortlin tweeted a cryptic message: "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji, which many interpreted as a sign that he was being pressured into keeping quiet until Melly's trial is over. According to Melly's lawyer, Bortlin will eventually speak out. On top of that, prosecutors will have Melly's ex-girlfriend on their side. She was recently arrested for skipping Melly's first trial by leaving the United States, and her testimony could become a crucial part of the case.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
When Mariah finally returned to the country, she was quickly arrested at the airport. However, shortly after, she was released from jail. In a surprising turn, she posted a message online saying, "Thank you to my village. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." The reason for her release became clear. She had struck a deal with the prosecution. The judge offered her freedom if she agreed to testify against Melly, and she signed the deal so quickly that she was free within 10 minutes. This is incredibly bad news for YNW Melly, as disturbing evidence was found in Mariah's iCloud account that reveals Melly allegedly tried to pressure her into not testifying during the original trial. This is considered witness tampering, a serious offense that carries a life sentence in prison, regardless of whether Melly was involved in the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie.
State filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
There is a real possibility that Melly could walk away from the original case due to the mistrial, especially if his lawyers managed to find a way to beat the charges and have him declared innocent. However, even if he's acquitted of the murder charges, if Melly is found guilty of witness tampering, he could still face a life sentence in prison. This is because the witness tampering case would be separate from the murder case. The most shocking part, though, is how the feds discovered the evidence of witness tampering. Their investigation into Mariah was sparked after people from Melly's hometown started discussing her involvement in the crime on Facebook. The investigation even led to YNW Juvie's father, who conducted his own inquiries. He spoke to locals from all over town and uncovered the code words Melly allegedly used to intimidate Mariah into not testifying.
Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry, who is known as YNW Bortland, are now charged with witness tampering. There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they're going through extreme measures, try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
As a result of his alleged witness tampering using jail phones, Melly has been denied access to a phone for several months. The situation grew so severe that his mother, Jamie King, was compelled to do an interview where she publicly exposed the county jail for restricting Melly's phone use.
My son has not been convicted of anything. And even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail. They don't give it to him.
If the evidence is true that YNW Melly was using jail phones to commit witness tampering, it makes sense why they've denied him phone access. The police must have solid proof stored away that ties him to this activity. They wouldn't just keep him off the phones based on a mere suspicion, as that could open them up to a lawsuit. But the real question is, does this evidence provide enough to have Melly released, or will he remain behind bars? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.